Hey gang, it's Rob from ITMasterKey.com and the Zero to IT Pro and Zero to IT Hero program. Today, I'm going to help you guys pass the CISSP or the CISSP exam. What we're going to do is go through the actual requirements for the exam, prerequisites, and actually give you some practice questions just to see how far away you are from actually passing the exam. You ready? Let's get into it. Move this guy out the way. Okay, so if you've never seen a video of me before, I'm Rob. Like I said a few minutes ago, I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan. I'm a U.S. Army Staff Sergeant that fought over in Afghanistan for your freedom. And now I help people just like you get into amazing tech careers and pass certifications like the CISSP. So I've been in tech for almost 20 years. I got 12 certifications. I got an MBA in IT, and that's kind of why you should listen to me. And even more important than that, I got over 15,000 students that I have helped just like you. And before we really get into it, I want to give a huge shout out to all of my students and all of the channel members here on this channel. Without you, this is not possible. I like you guys, right? I like hanging out with you, but without your support, this is not possible. So if you want to become a student, you can head over to itmaster.com and enroll into the pro program. At a minimum, if you want to join the channel, you can click the join button down below if you're watching this on YouTube. Now, the next couple of slides, we're going to go over the CISSP, CISSP, who is for, the requirements, so on and so forth. Now, before I even get into that, this is not an entry-level certification. This is not a mid-level certification. This is an expert level certification. If this is your first time seeing me, if it's your first time thinking about getting certifications and so forth, start with some of our other playlists, whether it's ITF Plus, A Plus, AWS, Microsoft. You need to start somewhere else. This is not a starting point. This is not, I don't like how much headroom I got. Let me scoot it down just a little bit. This is not a good starting point, right? And then if you're starting off, you can't even take this exam any damn way, right? Now, let's say for some strange reason that you pass this exam and you have no experience, never did anything. It's not a good idea for you to get the certification just because the requirements and what the expectations are, right? So the CISSP or CISSP stands for Certified Information Systems Security Professional. It is, I would say, number one. It's kind of looked at as like the gold standard, like, wow, you got CISSP, right? And the good thing is once you get CISSP, the money looks real good, right? It looks really, really, really good. It's designed for experienced security professionals who manage and implement security programs. Another thing is, for the CISSP is usually like a managerial boss of all bosses, a guy or a girl that's on top and in charge of other people. It's not just tech stuff or techie stuff. It's techie stuff in there, but it's not just for techies. So who is the CISSP for? Security practitioners and engineers, security consultants and analysts, IT directors and security managers, network architects and IT administrators, auditors and compliance officers, penetration testers and ethical hackers, and aspiring chief information security officers. Now, for you to actually be a CISSP, not just certified, but if you want to actually say, hey, I'm a CISSP, you have to have at least 5 years of experience, right? You heard what I just said? 5 years of full-time work experience. So you need to make sure that you have 5 years of working experience and at least 2 of the domains that are covered on the CISSP. So if you don't have those 5 years, you can't say that you are a CISSP. You can say I'm CISSP certified, but you cannot call yourself a CISSP. Candidates with a 4-year degree or IT or an approved security certification such as Security Plus, CISM can reduce this to 4 years, which is still a super long time, right? So for the actual exam, right, this is a super difficult exam. So you only get 125 to 175 questions, but you got 4 hours to pass it. And the damn test is so hard, you don't need a 70% to pass. And some people say, oh shit, 125, 175 questions with 4 hours. I'm not going to need that 4 hours. Yes, the hell you are. Yes, you are. Believe it or not, you're going to need a lot of time. We're going to cover about 15 to 20 questions in this training that I'm about to give you guys. And it's probably going to take us 30, 45 minutes just for 15 questions, right? Now it's going to take a little bit more time because I'm going to be breaking stuff down and stuff like that. But the actual certification is going to take you that long, but it's well worth it. But please understand, one, the requirements, two, the expectations once you are certified, and then three, the actual cost of the exam, I think is like $700 or $800. But this is well worth it. So if you were trying to figure out, is the CISSP worth it? For sure. But the one big thing I want to say is that it's super fucking hard. You may not pass it the first time, and the 4 hours is a real thing. You're going to need 4 hours. Now in that time, you can take bathroom breaks and stuff like that. And you're going to need to kind of take a couple breathers anyway, because the questions are so detailed, so complex, your brain is going to be cooked and you're going to need those breathers. And like I said, if you don't digest anything I just said, this certification is hard as fuck. But it's well worth it. Let's go ahead and get into it. A multinational financial institution is undergoing a merger with another corporation. During the due diligence process, security analysts discovered significant discrepancies in the risk management frameworks used by both companies. The acquiring company follows a quantitative risk assessment model, while the target company relies heavily on a qualitative risk analysis based on subjective evaluations. Additionally, many critical assets in the target company lack proper risk categorization, and threat modeling has never been formulated or formally conducted. As the lead security strategist, what is the best course of action to ensure a smooth security integration process and proper risk alignment between the two companies? A, immediately enforce the acquiring company's quantitative risk model across the entire organization. B, retain both models and apply them selectively based on asset classification levels. C, conduct a full business impact analysis and reassess risk based on unified risk framework. D, discard both models and implement a zero risk assessment to ensure complete alignment. Now, every time I do a question, every time I say something, I give you guys time to digest it because a lot of information. But just if you're going through this with me, if you are on the actual exam, you've been studying, so on and so forth, make sure you pay attention to the last line for sure, and the first line. Now, sometimes the stuff in between doesn't matter as much, but one of the biggest things in this is what's the best course of action? Best course of action. Now, I'm going to be quiet for a minute and let you guys think. Three, two, one. What's the best course of action? So for this, the best course of action is going to be conduct a full business impact analysis and reassess risk based on unified risk framework. So the impact analysis is super important, but it has emphasis on importance when you're talking about mergers, because you kind of want to figure out what is the risk of us merging. Do we do things differently than us? Or are we on the same page or on different pages? And you just need to determine how risks affect both organizations. Just doing stuff just to do it, the first option, it kind of ignores the risk culture. And if you do B, there's going to be inconsistencies and people are going to have a hard time adapting, the model. And then D, it would delay integration significantly. The best approach is to conduct a business impact analysis, unify risk assessment methods, and align them with regulatory and industry best practice. So this is the first question. How are we doing? Did we get it right? Are we saying holy shit? Or how do we feel? Right. So this is the mind frame we need to be in. It's going to be super long questions. They're going to be multiple choice. And in some instances, if we're not in the right headspace, if we're not using the right framework to get the right answer, all the damn questions can sound right. Let's go to the next one. I think moving forward, because I made these questions long as fuck, I may not read the answer, but I don't know. I don't think I am. I think I'll just let you guys kind of figure it out on your own. Now, that's one of the questions that you may be asking as well, is where the hell did I get these questions from? I made all these questions up myself. I have a practice test vault with questions just like this that can help you pass certifications. If you are interested in that, you can look in the description for that stuff. Here we go. A government contractor specializing in classified defense systems is developing a new artificial intelligence-based threat detection platform. During a security audit, assessors discovered that secure coding practices are not consistently followed, and developers lack training in secure software development lifecycle methodologies. Additionally, code reviews are only performed after major software releases, and penetration testing is not part of the development cycle. Considering the project's critical nature, which actions should be prioritized to immediately improve the security posture of development teams? Keyword: prioritize to immediately improve. Three, two, one. Now, for anybody who thinks I may be moving too fast, trust me, man, when you're inside the actual exam, you're actually going to have a little bit less time than that to really read the question and figure out what the answer is. Remember, you may get upwards of, 150, 175 questions. You only got 4 hours. So you don't have 10, 15 minutes to be going through each question. You don't even have a couple minutes. So for this, the best thing to do step immediately is mandate the use of static application security testing and dynamic application security testing in an SI/CD pipeline. So when you integrate security testing directly into the CI/CD pipeline, it ensures continuous monitoring and remediation of vulnerabilities. While security, your option A, help with cultural change, it does not provide immediate risk reduction. Requiring certifications, which was option B, could delay production and does not enforce security controls. And last but not least, if you hire an external red team, it's valuable, but should complement automated security testing, not replace it. A financial institution is exploring the use of blockchain-based smart contracts to automate certain banking transactions. While reviewing the implementation, a security researcher identified a critical flaw in the smart contract code that could allow an attacker to steal funds from user accounts. The problem stems from the fact that once a smart contract is deployed, it cannot be modified, meaning that any vulnerabilities become permanently embedded in the blockchain. This raises concerns about the long-term security and immutability risks of smart contract-based financial transactions. Which of the following is the best way to mitigate security risks in blockchain-based smart contract applications? 3, 2, 1. All right, so for this, you can implement formal verification methods to mathematically prove the correctness of smart contract code before deployment. Formal verification ensures that smart contract logic is mathematically tested against all possible attack vectors before deployment. Now, with 3 questions in, you see how much value I'm providing. You can see that I'm the best instructor this side of the Mississippi. So all I ask you to do right now is like the video. You do not have to subscribe. I don't give a fuck about that, but I do want you to like the video. And then in the comments, let me know how far on for you, right? If you were thinking about taking a CISSP, was this what you were expecting? Is it harder? Is it easier? And has this kind of made you think maybe I should start somewhere else? Maybe I should get Security Plus. Maybe I should even get A Plus. Maybe I should get a beginner certification. But even if you are a beginner watching this, right, it can kind of show you how big of a gap, right? You see, when I do the IT fundamentals training, all the way to the CISSP training, the gap in knowledge and just the ITF Plus is pretty much like you start in varsity in middle school. This is your Michael Jordan in the finals, right? So you can kind of see the difference, and you can also see why I'm the boss of all bosses when it comes to this training stuff. So just let me know in the comments how you feeling, how you doing. Has it changed your view on CISSP? Did you know about the requirements on CISSP? So on and so forth. You ready for the next one? All right. A large enterprise is transitioning to a zero trust architecture to enhance its security posture. The security team has deployed microsegmentation to restrict lateral movement, multi-factor authentication for all users, AI-driven anomaly detection for continuous monitoring. However, during a red team exercise, attackers successfully gained access to sensitive data using compromised administrator credentials. Which of the following is the best way to strengthen the organization security posture? Which of the following is the best way? Three, two, one. Implement just-in-time privilege access and enforce continuous authentication. So legit, not a Florida slang term, is access ensures the user receive elevated permissions only when needed and for a limited time, reducing the attack surface for privilege escalation. A global retail company experienced a ransomware attack that encrypted its customer database and demanded a Bitcoin payment for decryption. The incident response team quickly identified the attack and attempted to restore from backups, but the latest backups were also encrypted by the ransomware. What should the company prioritize to prevent this situation from happening again? What should the company prioritize to prevent this situation? Now, I've taught a couple of CISSP boot camps, right? And one of the biggest things that I found is that students you have to quickly be able to intake the information, see what it says, and understand what it's asking you and what the solution is very, very, very quickly, right? You got to be able to read the question, soak in the information, dissect the information. This is what it there's this is what's broken, or this is what the problem is. This is how I need to fix it. Another thing is, a lot of you guys, what I found is, if you already have a bunch of certifications, you're already working in the field, you may think that you're a lot smarter than you really are. When it comes to the certification, let your ego go. Let your ego go, and just kind of be a sponge, because that ego will definitely catch up to you when it comes to the certifications, as well as in your actual career. Last thing is, even if you go past a question and you think that is the answer, I strongly recommend still read all the answers. Still read all the answers. We ready? 3, 2, 1. Implement an offline immutable backup strategy with regular recovery testing. Immutable backups cannot be modified or deleted by ransomware, ensuring that clean copies of data remain available. Your organization recently implemented a federated identity management system using security assertion markup language, for authentication across multiple cloud services. During a recent security assessment, auditors discovered that SAML session tokens issued by the identity provider remain valid even after a user logs out, allowing attackers access to stolen session tokens to impersonate legitimate users. Further investigation revealed that session expiration settings were not properly enforced, and single logout was not enabled across all applications. Given this situation, what is the most effective way to mitigate the security risks associated with lingering SAML session tokens? Three, two, one. So for this, you got to enforce short-lived SAML session tokens and implement single logout across all federated applications. Short-lived session tokens reduce the risk of token reuse in case of compromise. And just the single logout is pretty simple. Once you log out, you are logged out of all the applications, right? So if you have a single sign-on and it signs you into a bunch of different applications, the single logout means that once you log out of one of the applications, you're logged out of everything. Your company, a financial institution, has outsourced cloud storage services to a third-party vendor. The vendor claims compliance with major industry standards, but during a security audit, your team discovers that the vendor does not provide detailed security logs and has refused to disclose their security architecture due to proprietary concerns. Additionally, the vendor's incident response policies are unclear, and they do not provide transparency regarding how they protect customer data against insider threats. Which of the following actions would be the best way to mitigate risks associated with this vendor? The best way to mitigate risk. So the best way to mitigate these risks, would be to require contractual agreements that enforce compliance with security frameworks, regular audits, and full transparency of security controls. Contracts with security clauses ensure that vendors meet compliance requirements such as SOC 2, 27001, and regular audits provide visibility into vendor security practice and allow for adjustments as necessary. Not having full transparency when it comes to security is all bad because they could just say, hey, yeah, we're doing this, we do audits, but we got this framework, everything is cool, and they're not doing any of that stuff. You got a bunch of vulnerabilities and a bunch of things that are happening. And if you are the boss, if you're the manager, if you're the CTO, the CISO, if you are, the boss, it's going to come down on you. So you trust, but you make sure that you verify. So another thing, like I said, is I want you guys to be confident, but do not be cocky. Let's say, oh man, shit, I'm getting all these questions right. Let's just say that you got all these questions right. Good. I'm proud of you. Let's say you got all these questions wrong. Good. I'm still proud of you because at least you're here and at least you're trying. But do not get a false sense of confidence because guess who is not going to be in the examination room? Me. I'm not going to be in the fucking examination room whispering to you, telling you what the answer is, reading the question to you, right? So what we're doing here is something that is kind of a little drawn out, something that needs to happen like really quickly, right? So if you got 15 questions, and I say on the actual exam, you want to try and knock them out, in just a couple minutes, a piece, just to make sure that we stay on track, because we don't have a lot of time. We ain't got a lot of time. For example, if it's taking you, 5, 10, like if it's taking you literally, if it's taking you 4 or 5 minutes per question, you're going to be cutting it really, 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 really close when it comes to the exam. And then, like I said, you have to understand how difficult this exam is. What exam have you taken to where, the passing score is only 70%? If you get 70%, you good. If you get 700 out of 1,000, you good, which is awesome, right? But if you get 68%, it's all bad. But the good news is, if you take this, you take a L, no big deal. What I've seen, if you get honestly, if you get in like the 50s or 60s, that's okay. That's okay. All right. That means that you have the concepts down. It might have been a bad day. You got the bubble guts, got into an argument with your wife, your dog, whoever, and it just didn't go the way you wanted to. But if you're getting in the 20s, 30s, 40s, that means that you don't even have the generalized concepts down, and you need to take a little bit more time and regroup. All right, you ready for the next one? Your organization has been the target of an advanced, persistent threat campaign for several months. The attackers have used zero-day vulnerabilities, sophisticated phishing emails, and living off the land techniques to move laterally within the network. Your security team recently detected anomalous outbound traffic to a known malicious IP address, which was traced to an infected employee workstation. Further investigation revealed that the malware has successfully bypassed the company's traditional antivirus solutions. What is the most effective strategy to detect and mitigate these types of threats? What is the most effective strategy? Three, two, one. So the most effective strategy would be to deploy an endpoint detection and response solution with behavioral analytics to detect anomalies and user activity and system behavior. So EDR solutions are machine learning based, and they use that to make sure that they can see how things go, kind of reference back to that data. And then the behavioral detection is just pretty much how are things working normally? What's the baseline? And anything that is an anomaly or something that just doesn't seem normal, or some stuff that actually happens most of the time, will be kind of shown as, okay, something's wrong. You might want to look at this, so on and so forth. Before we get to the next question, before we progress any further, if you have not liked this video, I would like to tell you from the bottom of my heart, go to hell. You don't follow directions. But the good news is you have redemption. Like the video right now. I'm outside of your house in a black Suburban. And if you don't, never mind. Just like the goddamn video. And this is also an awesome time to give a shout out to our sponsors, the Zero to IT Pro program, a program that helps people just like you get the top certifications in the industry. All self-paced, all 100% online. We have a proven roadmap and framework that helps people just like you get into tech and pass the certifications that employers are looking for. Also, Zero to IT Pro is the first step to get into the Zero to IT Hero program. So you have to be in the Pro program, pass your first certification to even be eligible to join the Zero to IT Hero program, which will be starting again in September. And that's going to be the last Zero to IT Hero cohort for this year. Now, once again, let's say that you landed on this. You do not know where to start. This stuff is super hard. You have no idea what we're talking about at all. We also have a beginner program for the ITF Plus, and it'll give you all the IT fundamentals that you need. All that stuff is in the description, including access to our practice test vault that has questions just like this that will help you pass the most popular tech certifications. Now let's get back to the regularly scheduled program. During a routine wireless network audit, your team discovers an unauthorized access point mimicking the corporate Wi-Fi network in a high traffic area. Employees have unknowingly connected to this rogue access point, exposing their credentials to potential attackers. Your security team suspects an evil twin attack. One attacker broadcasts an SSID identical to the company's Wi-Fi to capture sensitive data. Which of the following is the most effective way to prevent this type of attack? So what is the most effective way? Most effective way to prevent this type of attack? Another key thing that I want you guys to be aware of is for this exam, you need an extreme amount of focus. So I would say the shortest boot camp that I've ever taught for this was 30 days. And these were people that were kind of already studying, already doing stuff. The last one I did, I think almost everybody was already in the field. And that was one of the biggest things I told them is that the distractions, right? You like on your own, it's probably going to take you 3 to 6 months to kind of feel even somewhat ready to take it. So I would just say you need to make sure that you take out all the distractions. You make sure that this is your main focus for, for as long as you need it to be. Another thing is setting a deadline. That's another big thing is make sure you set a deadline. And one of the biggest things that would make you have to do this instead of just making it a damn forever thing is buying the exam, setting up your schedule as well. It's like scheduling your exam. So it's March. What is it? March, wherever the fuck month it is. Let's say it's March, and you set a date for June 15th or something. From today all the way to June 15th, you need to be getting it in, just being focused, and take it on June 15th, man, because you never know until you actually take it. Almost every person that I know that took it, nobody that passed thought they passed. Nobody. I've never met anybody that took the CISSP and was like, yeah, man, I knew going in, I knew when I press submit that that I was gonna pass, right? Almost, most people When they go into the testing center and the person gives them the paper, they already be like, yeah, I thought I failed, but they pass. Because remember, you can get a lot of questions wrong and still pass. But it's not an easy exam. All right, so you guys have more than enough time. What is the most effective way to make this happen? So the most effective way is implement a wireless intrusion prevention system to detect and block rogue access points in real time. As soon as somebody sets it up, boom, it's blocked. Solutions can automatically detect rogue access points and mitigate evil twin attacks by de-authenticating malicious networks and knocking them off the network. A multinational corporation recently detected an advanced malware infection on one of its core database servers. That malware, which had remained undetected for over 6 months, exfiltrated sensitive customer records in small amounts to avoid detection. Initial investigations revealed that the malware was introduced through a compromised administrator account, which had been reused across multiple systems. The security team is under pressure from executives to remove the malware as quickly as possible to minimize ongoing data loss. What should be the next step in the incident response process before remediation takes place? So we got a few more questions left. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to finish it. Hopefully so, because I got to teach a class in about 15, 20 minutes. So hopefully I can knock this stuff out with you guys. So what is the best next step in the incident response process? 3, 2, 1. So the best thing to do would be perform a forensic analysis of the infected system to determine the full scope of the attack and identify the initial point of compromise. Forensic analysis helps determine how the malware entered the system, what data was accessed, and whether additional systems were compromised. A global technology firm operates a high security research and development facility where classified projects are developed. Employees are required to use biometric authentication, smart card access, and security escorts when entering restricted areas. However, recent security audits reveal multiple incidents of employees smuggling out sensitive prototype components using creative methods, including hiding devices and personal belongings. Traditional security controls such as badge scans and surveillance cameras have failed to prevent these incidents, as employees with legitimate access credentials are exploiting their privileges. Which of the following measures would be the most effective in preventing unauthorized removal of sensitive assets? Three, two, one. So the best way is to implement RFID based asset tracking combined with mandatory security screens at all facility exit points. RFID tracking ensures that sensitive materials are accounted for at all times, while exit screening physically prevents unauthorized items from leaving the premises. A software company follows an agile development methodology and releases new features on a bi-weekly basis. However, after launching a recent application update, a security researcher discovered a major vulnerability that exposed user account data to unauthorized third parties. The company later determined that vulnerability originated from an insecure third-party API that was never audited before integration. The security team now wants to improve its secure software development lifecycle to prevent similar incidents in the future. What is the most effective strategy to reduce security risks in future software releases? 3, 2, 1. Implement security testing tools with CI/CD pipeline to automatically scan third-party APIs for vulnerabilities. Automated security testing ensures continuous monitoring and prevents vulnerable third-party dependencies from entering production. A major healthcare provider has deployed IoT-enabled patient monitoring devices in its hospitals to track vital signs in real time. These devices automatically transmit data to a central cloud platform used by doctors and nurses. Recently, the hospital security team discovered that unauthorized third parties were able to remotely access the IoT devices due to default manufacturer credentials that were never changed. Which of the following actions would best mitigate the risk of unauthorized access to these devices? Now, in real time and in real life, this is just a fact. Whenever convenience is presented, it inherently reduces security. So it's cool that you got monitor devices that can give vital signs, all that stuff in real time, and it's just something that's just on the actual patient, but that's more convenient, make things a little bit easier. But you're going to give up some security, and that's why people are accessing these devices. 3, 2, 1. Mandate password changes for all IoT devices and enforce unique credentials per device. Changing default credentials eliminates one of the most common attack vectors used to compromise IoT devices. Because you got to understand, it ain't always some super complex, um, evil scientist villain shit going on. Sometimes it's just as simple as, let me just try the password that came with this shit. Because most devices have a default password that comes with the instructions, and it says big as day, change this shit as soon as you set everything up. And if you don't change it, that's one of the first passwords that somebody is going to try or to try to authenticate and get inside of a device to do whatever it is that they want to do. All right, so in the comments below, let me know, have you taken CISSP before? And if you are thinking about taking CISSP, put your date in the comments. This way we're going to hold you accountable to make sure that you take that CISSP when you're supposed to, and then come back, right? So if shit don't go the way you wanted to, no big deal. Just say, hey, this is what happened. This is what I saw. This is what I messed up on, and we can keep each other accountable and keep each other, on track when it comes to changes in the exams, things that we did right, things that we did wrong, and the things that you guys are seeing on the exam, and the areas that everybody that's watching this needs to work on. All right, let's go to the next one. A multinational company handling intellectual property and trade secrets has recently experienced data leaks from trusted employees. Security logs indicate that employees are sending sensitive data to personal email accounts and cloud storage devices. Although the company has a database or data loss prevention system in place, the current policy only blocks USB file transfers and email attachments, but does not monitor other exfiltration methods, such as copy and pasting sensitive information into web-based applications. Which of the following is the best way to enhance the company's DLP strategy to prevent further data links? The best way. Three, two, one. So the best way is enhance DLP policies to monitor clipboard activity, screen captures, and cloud storage uploads. Advanced policies prevent non-traditional data exfiltration methods, including copy pasting, screen captures, and cloud uploads. All right, gang, that was our training for today. If you did a good job, great. If you didn't do a good job, that's still great. You're still trying. Keep on coming back. I drop videos just like this on numerous certifications throughout the week. Usually drop 3 or 4 videos a week. Some CompTIA stuff, some Cisco stuff, some AWS stuff, some CISSP stuff, some CH stuff, all different certifications because I'm pretty much the baddest motherfucker on the internet that does this, right? So if you're looking to get into the Zero to IT Hero program, make sure that you log into itmuskie.com and enroll into the Zero to IT Pro program. That way, you will be eligible to get into the Hero program in September. If you are just starting off, we have the IT Fundamentals course as well, and also the Practice Test Vault. All that information is in the description. If you like this video, if it was valuable to you, at a minimum, like this video so I can get into the algorithm and help more people just like you. Other than that, I'll see you in class.